EnterCalc 3D has a powerful tool called pattern loads that allows us to automate the process of skip loading a structure like the one we see here that has multiple members in a line and would be subject to alternate span loading and loading of adjacent spans on either sides of supports to maximize things like shear and moment and deflection. So to see that tool in action, first let's just come up to load cases, and we'll see that I have a dead and a live load case defined, and all of the loads that you see on the structure right now, both the point loads and the uniform load, are part of the live load case. The other thing that I'll point out is that in this model, I've already generated load combinations, and I just chose the IBC 2015 template, but created a bunch of load combinations. Now, this tool allows us to generate the skip loading very easily. The first step is to select the members that we want to skip load. I'll just try a different method here and select by member orientations and then choose everything that's parallel to the member or to the global x-axis. So that selects all 5 of the beams. Then what we can do is come to Generate Loads and down to Pattern Loads. The Pattern Load dialog allows us to select the load case that contains the load items that we want to pattern, and it lists the items that we've currently selected. We could also add more rows to this table and select them in tabular form if there were more members to be loaded, but we've got them all here. So the only thing that's left to do is click OK, and now we can see that something has happened here on the graphic. Let's clarify that a little bit. If I go to the View tab and then choose Load Diagram, notice that in the load case list, we now have a whole bunch of extra load cases selected. So starting with just the original live load, we can see that nothing has changed there. That's the same one that we defined. But then I could click on what they refer to as number 4 and look at an odd span loading. If we go to number 5, it's an even span loading. And then the remaining cases are adjacent span loadings where they pile the load on either side of supports. So you can see by looking at the load cases how much work this saves us by not having to go through all those permutations. The other thing that's worth taking a look at is if we go to tables and then load combinations, we still see the load combinations that we created that were IBC 2015 based, but notice that if I scroll down a little further, we start to pick up an entirely new set of combinations that reference pattern numbers. So this is also part of the process of patterning loads that the program takes care of for us automatically. And obviously there's quite a bit of value in having all of these different load combinations generated for us automatically, not something that we would want to have to work through manually.